Okay, Kilo India 5, Whiskey, Whiskey, Tango, Joe in Lancaster, and somebody doubled with Joe. Kilo Echo 5, Victor, X-Ray Zulu. Anybody else? One last call. Anybody northeast, east, or south of the Metroplex looking to check into the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net? I got you that time, Brian. I got you that time. Whiskey 5, or November 5, Whiskey Charlie Tango. Sorry if I butchered your call. November 5, Whiskey Charlie Tango in Brenham, Texas. 158.9 miles from my QTH. Relay, go ahead.
Tango, Delta.
Okay, Kilo Juliet 5, Hotel Tango Delta.
Affirmative.
All right, Trey, did you get all that?
I did not, but I'm going to read you Tiffany's list, and I think she got it all. So let's see here. We got the last one I did get was Kilo Juliet 5, Juliet Fox Uniform. Then Chuck, Kilo Charlie 5, Alpha Delta Mike, Kilo Golf 5, Tango Zulu Tango, Whiskey 5, Bravo Sierra Delta. Hey there, Kevin. Glad you're out in Eustis this evening, and good to get to talk with you on the chat. A minute ago. Hope I'm making it down there. Let's see. Kilo Juliet 5 Lima Uniform Golf. Then we got Whiskey 5 Fox Hotel. Kilo India 5 Whiskey Whiskey Tango. Kilo Echo 5 Victor X-Ray Zulu. And November 5 Whiskey Charlie Tango.
And I'm trying to look. I'll look on my list and compare it to what Tiffany's got. I don't see Kilo Juliet 5 Hotel Tango Delta, or am I blind?
I'll bet she gets it in there. What was the call one more time, Gary?
Kilo Juliet 5 Hotel Tango Delta.
Kilo Juliet 5 Hotel Tango Delta. We'll get them in the log.
Okay, thanks. Keep K5WXY Watts hatching.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it, and thanks for the relay work. Yeah, got quite a few of us in there. Let's see, who else do we need to call up this way? How about out to the north and the east? Let's call Fannin, Lamar, Delta, Rockwall, Kaufman, any folks out there that direction that wish to check into the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net. Come with your call now.
Juliet 5, Juliet Quebec Delta, inlay.
Is that a Quinlan station?
Kilo Juliet 5, Juliet Quebec Delta. We got you in the log, Gary. Is that who you were talking about?
I guess so. I thought I heard somebody say Quinlan.
I think he just said he was in late, but hey, better late than never. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and call. That reminds me, I need to call for Johnson County. We'll move down there, see what is going on that direction.
Whiskey India 5, Mike Romeo Whiskey.
Alpha India 5, X-Ray Romeo.
Two almost full-scale stations there. Whiskey India 5, Mike Romeo Whiskey, and Alpha India 5, X-Ray Romeo. Any other Johnson County stations? Wayne I think that's the end of my run, so I'm going to turn it back over to you, KE5NGM, back to net.
Thanks a lot, Trey. Appreciate it. Thanks to, let's see, Gary down there. Yeah, thanks, Gary. Sounds like you all got a bunch rounded in. Appreciate the participation there. And let's see, line 58, that's Kilo Victor 5 Delta Alpha November, just to get that squared away. And I'm going to go ahead and call on, well, before I do that, I heard a Kilo Tango 5 a few minutes ago, but I didn't get the rest of it, and I'm wondering if you're still there. Kilo Tango 5, are you out there? Well, I got a suspicion who that was, but I didn't copy anything that time. So we'll call on Wise County. Wise County, your turn to check into the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net.
KI5LET.
Whiskey Delta 5 Echo, Echo India.
Okay, a copy of Kilo India 5, Lima Echo Tango. Good to hear you this evening, Top, and we're going to let you run a few counties here in just a moment. Now I've got Whiskey Delta 5 Echo, Echo India. Anybody else up there in Wise County? All right, nothing heard. So without any further ado, Top, let's go ahead and get some of the northern counties, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Thanks, Wayne. This is Kilo India 5, Lima Echo Tango, assisting net control for the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net. Looking for any other Wise County check-ins. All right, it looks like it's just me and Glenn tonight from Wise County. Any counties north of Wise County? We've already got a Grayson County check-in, or how about a Cook County, Montague County? Looking for check-ins to the north, or Oklahoma? Nothing heard. Let's move east to Denton County. Looking for Denton County check-ins.
Kilo 5 Delta Tango Hotel, David near Argyle. November 5, November Alpha, Hickory Creek.
All right, we got a great list there, five stations. We got Kilo 5, Delta Tango Hotel, David in Argyle, Whiskey 5, Sierra Tango Charlie, that's Steve in Northwest Denton County. Kilo 5, Bravo Yankee X-Ray, Kilo Oscar 5, Zulu, and November 5, November Alpha in Hickory Creek. Any other Denton County check-ins? All right, let's try some relays from Denton County. Steve, W5STC, are you available for relays? right, Steve, that's great. We picked up 2 more check-ins, so thanks for that. I'll clear with Whiskey 5 Sierra Tango Charlie. We did pick up Kilo Delta 5 Delta Delta Whiskey in Collin County, and Kilo India 5 Romeo Sierra Victor. That was a relay from another station, and he's in Denton County as well. And this is, I think that's all we've got. Wayne, KI5LET, back to net.
Thank you, Top, and thanks to Steve for bringing the other stations in. I think it's time for us to make a general last call. We'll do that again after the second part of the net, but if anybody would like to check in to the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net that hasn't done so thus far, now's your turn.
Kilo India 5, Victor, Quebec, Golf.
And KB5DB.
Okay, had some doubling going on, but I got Phil over there, Kilo India 5, Victor, Quebec, Golf. And I heard David, Kilo Bravo 5, William Basketball, Whiskey Bravo. And there was another station in there that I almost copied you, but I couldn't quite bring it in. Okay, Kilo India 5, Juliet Romeo Papa. Have you checked in before? Oh, great. Well, we appreciate you joining the crowd. And what's the name?
Okay, C5SLQ Mobile.
Okay, KC5 Sierra Lima, Quebec. Welcome aboard. Anybody else? Okay, all right. Well, I thought that you said you was mobile. I thought maybe you went down on a low place, but appreciate you bringing it back in to us, Mac. And appreciate you checking in this evening. And next time you're passing through, do it again. And, of course, we got Daryl over there, Kilo Charlie 5, Sierra Lima, Quebec. Anybody else to check into the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net? Okay, nothing heard. So the next part of the net is if you would like to make a call either to a station you've heard this evening or just get a general signal report in the area, let me have your call letters and I'll put you on the list and we'll let you have the frequency.
Wayne, I thought I heard a Kilo 2.
Okay, Gary, go ahead and try to pick them up.
Was there a Kilo 2 out there? Kilo 2, Tango. Thank you for checking in, sir. Go ahead, Wayne.
Okay, was that Kilo 2, Tango?
That's what I copied. Kilo 2, Tango.
All right, very good. Let's see. Anybody like to get on the call list? Let me come down. I'll put your call down, and we'll let you have the frequency.
Alpha India 5 X-ray Romeo.
Well, go ahead, Jacob. Take it away.
Thank you. I just wanted to test out something. N5 FPD. How you copy me?
Copy a Q5, no problem whatsoever.
Okay, I'm down at 10 watts. Let me go down to 5 watts. Okay, how you copying me now?
You're pretty scratchy, but I still got a copy on you.
Okay, good deal. I just wanted to test out something because I'm hearing everyone pretty good tonight. AI5XR, back to net control.
All right, let's see. Anybody else like to get on the call list? Hello, Mike. I thought maybe you was out partying again. Well, I still was, and I'm glad that you checked in, and you got a pretty good signal this evening, so conditions are pretty good between here and Sweetwater. Let's see, that was Kilo Echo 5 Yankee Fox out in Sweetwater, Texas. Always good to have Mike check in. So anybody else that'd like to get on a call list, or anybody that'd like to check in? All right, do I have any relays? So that brings us up to the close. I'm going to make one more call. Any late check-ins for the North Central Texas 2-meter Simplex net. This is the last call. Now's your turn to check in if you're interested. All right, I didn't hear anybody, so at this time I'm going to pass along my thanks and appreciation to all the relay stations, especially to our net logger out there. Tiffany is doing a great job, and I know that's not an easy task. We definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate all the check-ins. Without all the folks checking in, this net wouldn't be possible. And remember, tell everybody that that you're working on 146.58 Simplex and how much fun you're having, and maybe they'll come join us. And let's see, I think the next time that we get on will be next Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, and that'll be the day after Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving day and a good Thanksgiving weekend. And speaking about weekends, I hope this weekend is good for you as well. Very best of 73s. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Friday evening. November 5, Fox Papa Delta officially closing the net. Good signal, Haskell. Appreciate you being there, Michael.
KI5HXK, KI5LET. KK2TT Kilo 5 Whiskey X-Ray Yankee Waxahachie. You still on frequency? Kilo 2 Tango K5WXY Waxahachie.
Yeah, I just looked you up on QRZ to see where you were. We're 103.2 miles away. I wasn't familiar with the call. I hope you check in with our net more often. Yeah, it's Kilo 5, Whiskey X-Ray Yankee. I'm just north of Waxahachie, between Waxahachie and Red Oak. I've got a Waxahachie mailing address, but I'm actually in the county. It was when I got up this morning. I don't know about now. I don't know if I can hit Mahia. I can hit Hillsboro and stuff like that. I want to say Mahia is the same frequency, if it's a 2-meter repeater, as one here in Mansfield. Yeah, they do a relay the Chalk Mountain repeater repeats what it hears on Simplex. You can't use Chalk Mountain to check in because we're Simplex, but they do put it on the Chalk Mountain thing. And then I don't know, were you listening or looking at Trey's YouTube video? Yeah, and so we use Chalk Mountain, and there's another repeater that they use that just simulcast, I guess, you know. You're not supposed to check in through it, but anyway, and then there's relay stations all around, all across the Metroplex, so somebody will hear you. But I was completely unfamiliar with the call, and after I checked you in, I looked you up on QRZ. I'm running an X510. The base of it's at 110 feet on a RON 45 tower, and I'm running about 180 watts through a Top Tech amplifier. Yeah, I've got actually 3 radios going right now on 3 different antennas. I had a G6 up on the top of the tower, and of course it's 2 meters only. And I've got this ICOM 9700 that's 2 meters, 440, and whatever the satellite stuff is. And so I didn't have an antenna for that. I've got a Anytone tri-bander that's got a CX333 tri-band antenna. It's on my RON 25 tower at about 65 feet. But I took the G6 and side-mounted it on the side of the tower, on the side of the 100-foot RON 45 tower. It's a little bit below and off to the side of the X510. And I'm using a Yaesu FT-991A like you've got, with the G6 connected, and I'm receiving you on both radios. Yeah, I've got a friend of mine that's about a mile from me that's just texted me and said, "Who's that? I can hear him." I'm surprised he can hear you. His antenna's not very high, But yeah, we're here every week from 8 until whenever we finish, and there's a pre-net at 7. A bunch of us get on and check propagation and stuff. There's no net control. It's just a free-for-all. They call it net out of control, but anyway, 8 o'clock's when the net starts. Net control rotates to different places, so you may or may not be able to hear net control direct, but you can listen to Trey's YouTube, and then eventually it passes to me, and I look for stations out south, east, and northeast of the Metroplex, and you were there tonight, and I definitely did not recognize the call, so I knew that you were new to the group, but like I said, we're here every Friday night, and spread the word. Okay, not a problem. Like I said, you know, we're here every week. Trey's YouTube video is up for people that can't hear net control, which when it's out west, I can't normally hear it. We've got a net control station out in Eastland, out west of the Metroplex, and I have a devil of a time hearing him, so I monitor the YouTube video myself. Okay, now I want to make sure I did copy the call right. It's Kilo 2 Tango Tango. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to be sure. Are you familiar with NetLogger? You don't need it, but we use NetLogger, and you can see that you were logged, and you can see everybody else that was logged, and you know, it's a handy thing to have, but you're not required to. But you were number 89, and I think you were the last check-in tonight, so you know, we usually do around 100 check-ins. GT or TT? That's why I asked, because it keeps it sounds like you're saying golf tango at the end. Not a problem. Anyway, we appreciate you checking in. Spread the word. We need, you know, we want as many as we can get, and at the end of the net, I don't know if you heard them or not, but they ask if anybody wants the frequency, and usually if there's a real far DX station, a lot of guys will ask for the frequency and then try to contact the DX station, so you know, you could have a lot of callers. Alrighty, have a good evening, sir. Kilo 5 Whiskey X-Ray Yankee, Waxahachie.
Gary, tell him I'm hearing him over here in Lake Whitney, inside GTH.
Hey, KK2 Tango Tango, my friend Tim in Lake Whitney is copying you. Well, W5FH is in Crockett, but there's another gentleman, November 5 Tango Charlie Hotel. He's down in Lake Whitney, and he is copying you as well.
Facebook, Juliet 5, Juliet Foxtrot Uniform, KJ5, JFU, Waxahachie. Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, you're pretty far from me. Leona, Texas is almost a 2-hour drive, so that's pretty cool. KJ5, JFU.
103 miles. Tim, do you hear him? He's calling you.
Well, he's been in and out, and I just pulled it up, and he's 140 miles from me. But there, at one point, I was hearing him pretty well, but now not so much. Okay, well, I copied you that time, Dave. I just looked you up on QRZ, and we're 140 miles apart. There's no doubt about that. Every once in a while you fall down and it's a rough copy, but most of the time I'm copying you 100%. Yeah, it's up on Chalk Mountain over there in Glen Rose, and I think it's a pretty tall tower too. So anyway, Dave, I just wanted to wave my hand and let you know you're getting into Hill County over here by Lake Whitney. 73, N5TCH.
Well, we're just having a DX Festa here, aren't we? And good evening, Tim. You're sounding good here in Waxahachie.
Well, your signal seems to be a little more steady than normal. You know, sometimes your signal fades on me, but it hasn't tonight.
Well, you're about a 5'8". Of course, I don't know if it's just band conditions or that X510 I just put up.
Well, I've got you. It looks like about 5'7", somewhere in there, and normally, you know, it's about 5'5", so looks like maybe a couple of S units.
Yeah, my friend Brian down in Brenham, I was able to copy him tonight. He was there on the pre-net, and then I kept calling, you know, looking for check-ins, and finally I heard him during the regular net, and he's 158 miles away from me.
Yeah, that's right. And earlier when I was talking about the 1.2 gig, Gary, I'm trying to find anybody that might be capable, because we are going to try to make contact coming up in January, at the end of January, for Winter Field Day. And in order to get the 12 band bonus, we're going to have to make some contacts on the 1.2 gig.
Well, I'm not familiar with it, but is there a monoband I could stick up on the side of the tower?
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm sure some people use a dish because you're getting up close to a microwave. You know, I know the guys that talk long distances, that's the way they do. But, you know, as far as a vertical antenna, gosh, at 1.2 gigahertz, it wouldn't have to be very tall.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out because, you know, I have no antenna for that, and this ICOM 9700 will do that. That's really the reason why I put the X510 up, because, you know, I had that 2-meter only G6 up on top of the tower, and, you know, I didn't have anything for 70 centimeters on this, so now I do. But now, you know, I need to start looking into that, whatever it is you were talking about, see about an antenna for that. That way I've got, because there's 3 antenna inputs on the back of this thing, one for 2 meters, one for 440, and the other one for whatever it is.
Yeah, it's 23 centimeters, and, you know, or 1.2 gigahertz. And I haven't even checked these. I think this radio doesn't even put out much wattage on that high frequency, but we're going to try to get something going for Winter Field Day, and I need to be able to make 3 contacts on 1.2 gigahertz for the band to even count. Oh, and what we're thinking about doing, Gary, is we're actually thinking about going mobile
into it and see about an antenna.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. I found a deal on the brand new Diamond X700A, I believe is what it is. And it is a 2-meter, 440 and 23 centimeters.
Yeah, I don't know either. But let's see. You know, I'll find something, and you know, because I need it anyway. If this radio's got the capabilities, I should at least take advantage of it.
Well, and kind of what I'm thinking, Gary, is I know there's a lot of these radios out there. You know, so there's a lot of people that have the radio and maybe just don't have the antenna. So anyway, that's kind of what we're trying to do, and we're trying to get it done by the end of January. I think it's the 25th, January 24th and 25th, I think, for Winter Field Day.
Well, then I got plenty of time. Well, that's true. So far, all I'm seeing is beams. I'm looking on my phone while we're talking.
Like I said, the one is the Diamond X700, I'm pretty sure is what it was.
Yeah, but I don't need. Yeah, I'm thinking just getting the 23 centimeter antenna by itself because, you know, I mean, I need the 2 meters and the 70 centimeters as well, and the X510 has got some good gain on both those bands, and I don't know what this other one has.
Definitely losing the gain on 2 meters and 70 centimeters, that's for sure, because it's only a 10-foot antenna.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was looking for a you know, monobander for that. And so far, all I've seen are beams. I haven't seen a vertical, but you know, I'll look more. But a beam is probably what it's going to take, you know, to point it down towards y'all to make that contact.
Well, like I said, Gary, we are actually thinking about going mobile, actually driving. So, you know, to get the contact, you know, we don't know where we're going to go yet, but I know we're going to have to get closer to a more populated area than here, because around here, we're not going to be able to do much or nothing, because it's purely line-of-sight communication.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll talk more about that later, and let me do some research on an antenna, because like I said, if this radio is capable of doing that, I don't have an antenna for it, so I mean I need one anyway, whether I make contact with you guys or not on field day, or you know, or not. I still should get an antenna for this, because why waste the band?
Oh yeah, you know, the other drawback to it is, you know, when you get up that high frequency, your coax really starts to matter. You know, I guess as long as you're going up in height, it's not going to be a big deal, but I don't know how far your tower is from your house, but, you know, that's what I'm a little worried about is, you know, the loss in my coax trying to talk through the 1.2 gig.
Well, you realize I'm running half-inch Andrew hardline.
Well, that'll help for sure. You know, and the coax going up your tower won't be as big a deal because you're gaining time and gain along at the higher you get. So, and I would think, I haven't really looked at it, Gary, but gosh, a 10-element beam would be pretty small, and it might be pretty easy to build.
Yeah. I got a friend down in Waco that's an electrical engineer that could probably help me with that if I wanted to build one. But no, it's half-inch hardline all the way down the tower and across the yard under the house. So I've got about 200 feet of half-inch hardline, 100 feet down the tower and 80 feet across the yard to the house, and another 20 feet up under the house. And then of course I've got LMR 400 Ultraflex from there, because you can't really run hardline up into a wall.
Oh yeah, well what, you've got multiple antennas up there. What, do you have a switch box up on the top?
Just on the RON 25 tower, I've got a 20-meter beam and then 40-meter wire and a 17-meter wire, and I also have a 2-meter beam. I did have a 2-meter beam. I guess I still do. It just I robbed that lead in tonight so that I could get the G2 on the tower. So I had both the G2 and the X510 working. So I don't have currently I don't have the 2-meter 10-element beam that's side mounted, but I have a 13-element 2-meter beam that I'm going to eventually put on top of the RON 45, and I can use a switch box. I've got a switch box out there for the HS stuff, but the switch box is only good to like 150 meg or something. You know, it's 2-meter. It won't do 440, and it certainly won't do 23 centimeters.
Oh yeah, most of the guys that I know that do this, they use those transco switches, and you can still find those around. They're kind of a military grade, high frequency, you know, switch. And most of them that I know though have to build their own control box, you know, and get 25 volts out to it or something like that. But that's the best ones that I've heard around for the higher frequencies is those transco switches.
Well, truth be known, I've got the half-inch Andrew half-inch hardline, comes all the way down the tower and across the yard and up under the house. I've got another piece of Andrew half-inch hardline coming down the tower, and it just gets to the base of the tower. And I took some LMR 400 and connected it up to that piece and ran it over to my RON 25 tower where I had that lead in that I was the cable coming under the yard and up under the house that I had the 2-meter beam tied into. I tied that into. So, you know, if push comes to shove, I've still got some hard line. I can add it to the piece at the bottom of the tower, and I can have 2 pieces of hard line coming up under the house, and then from there I'll just use LMR 400 Ultraflex.
Yeah, well, I do have a piece of LMR 600, and it's not quite half-inch hardline, but it's as close as you can get. And that's what I was going to run out to my tower to a switch box, and then, you know, go up the tower with LMR 400. So that was my plan, but my plan might be changing because if I want to look at some of this higher frequency stuff, I think I'm going to end up putting the tower a little closer to the house than what I had planned on doing.
Yeah, I understand. The RON 25 tower's, you know, pretty close to the house. But I put from the back of the house to the property line, I split the difference, and that's where I put the RON 45. So it's about 80 feet behind the house.
Yeah, well, you definitely need to use hard line, you know, even if you're going, you know, 70 centimeters with a 440 frequency. So when you start running that much, you know, that much line, you know, and like I said, the 1.2 gig is even, because I looked at the LMR 400, 110 feet of LMR 400 at 1.2 gig, there's a 5 dB loss.
Yeah, I hadn't looked it up, but yeah, it's hard line all the way down the tower and into the house. Under the house, the feed line that the X510 is on, which is 2 meters and 70 centimeters, it is hard line all the way up under the house, and then it's about a 15-foot run of Ultraflex, LMR 400 Ultraflex that I've got barreled to the hard line, which comes up under the house into the wall and then into the radio room.
Yeah, well, like I said, my plans are changing, and this antenna that I'm talking on right now is on a pole about 45 feet in the air, and it's the tram, you know, 3-section, you know, dual band fiberglass vertical. And what I'm going to end up doing, because I was going to dedicate this antenna solely for UHF. And then my VHF was going to be on the tower with the G7, and hopefully, and a beam on, below the G7. And then, but now I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to take this antenna down, and I'm going to put up that tri-band antenna on this pole, and it will be dedicated to 1.2 gig and 440. And then, I'll just have another coax running for my the G7 when I get it up.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Like I said, originally I had the G6 on the mast at the top of the tower, but it was 2 meter only, and I'm sitting there like, well, I've got this 9700. I've got 2 more bands I can do something with. So that's when I bought the X510 and put it on top of the tower, on top of the mast, on top of the tower, and then just moved the G6 to a side mount on the side of the tower. So I think I can get me a 23 centimeter something or other and stick that up there side mounted and do okay with that. And again, I might have to go with the beam. I can always, but I wanted to put the beam, the 13 element 2 meter beam, I wanted to put that on top of the RON 45 between the base of the tower, or the top of the tower, and the X510, so they didn't interfere. But I've got this X510 and this G6 pretty close together, and they're not interfering with each other.
Well, that's good to hear, Gary, but like I said, when I knew you had a 9700, and I just wanted to put a bug in your ear about the 23 centimeters. So, because I thought you might could come up with something. And then, like I said, if I've got something, I'd be real interested in seeing if we could talk as well on that frequency as we can on this one.
I'm wondering if we could talk on 70 centimeters.
Well, we could try it.
Well, I've got the splitter thing. I haven't connected it up yet where I can put the coax from that antenna and then split the VHF and the UHF. Right now, this coax from the X510 is hitting the amplifier, my 2 meter amplifier, before it hits the radio. So I need to put that splitter in there, and that way I can split off the 70 centimeter signal from the 2 meter signal, and have both antennas connected to this radio. Then that leaves the 23 centimeter port that I can run another antenna to that.
Yeah, well, I've got the little diplexer on the back of mine here for the 2 meter and 440, so I can run it into one antenna. And but I'm going to get the triplexer because I'll have an antenna capable of doing all three. And but I'm still going to end up separating the 2 meter to a separate coax, and doing that. But I'm just going to take this dual bander down and replace it with a tri-bander that'll add another band to this, this antenna here.
Well, I'm anxious to see how your G7 works because, I'm still having thoughts as to whether, this X510, it'll only handle 330 watts, and the G7 and the G6 will handle 600 watts.
Well, and that's another reason I got it, because now I've got the amplifier up here capable of 350 watts.
Yeah, and I can't do that with the X510.
Well, this one here I'm on, I'm afraid to even run it at 200. I do a little bit, but right now it's running, well, it's running about 150 right now.
Well, I'm looking at M Squared. They've got a 23 centimeter beam for 1250 to 1300 megahertz for 376.95. I'm just looking at the picture. I don't know how many elements it's got.
Yeah, well, I've looked at the M Squared stuff, and they make good stuff, but you better be getting ready to dig in your pocketbook for their stuff.
Yeah, this one's like $350. 350 376.95 to be exact.
It's probably got, you know, $30 or $40 worth of aluminum in it.
Yeah, I know.
I know, it irks me, you know, because I wanted to try to get into some satellite work, and I didn't want to mess with the beam. And they make that egg beater set up, and I was real interested in it until I saw what it was going to cost me to get it all and put it together.
Yeah, I know, they're not cheap. I mean, we picked an expensive hobby.
There you go. I'm retired, Gary. I just don't want to have to go back to work.
Well, I'd like to retire, but I'm not.
Okay, bud, I'm going to let you go. I think I've flapped my gums long enough tonight, so. But anyway, like I said, I got the bug in your ear, and that was my intention tonight, so. Have a good one, and let me know what's going on. N5TCH, 73.
Okay, well, this thing has a boom length of 70 inches, so that's not too terribly bad.
Yeah, at 70 inches, it's probably at least a 10 element beam.
Yeah, I'm looking for the number of elements, but I don't see it. But I do see the length of the boom, and it's got a half inch boom and 70 inches long.
Yeah, like I said, and when I see that, my mind starts going, that's a half-inch piece of aluminum tubing with some little short rods on it. And then I look at the price and I go, this is not matching up.
Well, unless you're RF engineer and can build your own antennas, I mean, what choice do you have?
Well, I've made one out of a tape measure before, so with a wooden rod and a tape measure.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Well, it was for satellite work, for a handheld, you know, a little 2 meter, and then I made a 440 one. That didn't work very well, but they did work.
Yeah, you know, as far as using an antenna switch, I don't know of any antenna switch that'll handle that high of a frequency.
I'm sure if the transco switches will go up that high either. I know they do go through 70 centimeters, you know, with 440 megahertz.
Well, maybe I can use one of them combiner things up there and combine the 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and 23 centimeter signal all into one down lead, and then when it gets to the back of the radio, split it back out.
It's W5F8.
Yeah, well, like I said, the only one I'm planning on having is just going to have 2 meter or below on it, so I don't need one of those ones that'll be up that high. As a matter of fact, the one I bought was a Marathon.
Yeah, go ahead, Byron.
Yeah, say, I heard you talking about, you know, high quality, microwave rated, multi-position antenna switches, and I've got some here, and they're available if you do a little research on the internet, on eBay, but Dowkey and a few other manufacturers make quality multi-position type N connector switches that'll handle high power and have very low SWR up into the microwave region. I can help you with some of those if you actually want to try to do that.
Okay, Tim, are you copying Byron?
He was in and out. He was definitely in and out. And Gary, I need to get out of here, bud. So y'all pick it up, and I'll get back with you later. N5TCH.
Alrighty, Tim. N5TCH, Lake Whitney, Kilo 5 Whiskey X-Ray Yankee, Waxahachie. Okay, Byron. Yeah, they're gonna try to do some 23 centimeter stuff on field day. And he knew I had an ICOM 9700 that would do 23 centimeters, and they wanted to set up a contact, so I'm going to have to look into an antenna.
Yeah, I've done weak signal work on that band in years past. I bought some on eBay, some Dow key, 1-pole 5 position that I think they retail for, you know, close to $1,500, but you can get them on eBay for, you know, sometimes a pretty good price, close to $100 or even a little less.
Well, if I put one up, I've got some more hard line. I'll probably just run a dedicated line into the shack because I can use the other one I've got. I've got hard line on the X510, which is 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and I've got the little splitter thing here. I haven't connected it up yet, but I can split that line coming in between 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Then I can just run a dedicated line for the 23 centimeter antenna and connect it to the radio. So I don't know that I'm going to need any kind of antenna switches or anything like that.
Yeah, it all depends on how serious you want to get, you know, to try to cut out every little bit of loss and mismatch. So that's all.
Okay, Byron, thanks for the information. Appreciate it. I'm kind of tired. I'm fixing to hit the hay. I can sleep in tomorrow morning and don't have to go nowhere, don't have to be nowhere. So I appreciate the QSO. W5FH Crockett, Kilo 5, Whiskey X-Ray Yankee, Waxahachie.